The 4-Hour Workweek. Redefine work. Redefine life. Live unconstrained. Are you trapped in the relentless grind of the 9 to 5? Constantly dreaming of freedom, but always feeling out of reach? What if the conventional path to success, working tirelessly for decades to retire old and tired, is actually a dangerous myth? Imagine liberating yourself from the office, traveling the world, earning more money while working less, and designing a life rich with experiences, not just endless tasks. Welcome, listeners, to a radical and highly actionable blueprint for modern living. The 4-Hour Workweek. Escape 9-5. Live anywhere and join the new rich by the provocative entrepreneur and lifestyle designer Timothy Ferriss. First published in 2007, this book wasn't just a bestseller. It ignited a global movement, challenging the very definition of work, wealth, and retirement. Ferriss's core philosophy dismantles the traditional notion of deferred gratification and someday living. He argues that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about time, mobility, and the freedom to pursue your passions now, not decades from now. He introduces the concept of the new rich, those who design their lives to maximize time, income, and mobility, enjoying the benefits of being wealthy without necessarily having enormous bank accounts. The 4-Hour Workweek provides a step-by-step methodology to achieve this lifestyle through principles of automation, elimination, and liberation. It's a bold, no-nonsense guide for anyone ready to break free from the conventional shackles of work and create a life of purpose, adventure, and unparalleled freedom. Part 1. D is for definition. Dispelling the myths. In the first major section of the 4-Hour Workweek, Timothy Ferriss immediately challenges deeply ingrained societal assumptions about work, retirement, and the pursuit of wealth. He aims to shatter your preconceived notions about what's possible and redefine the very goals you should be aiming for, laying the philosophical groundwork for the radical changes that follow. Chapter 1. Cautions and Comparisons. How to Burn $1,000 a Night. Explanation. Ferriss opens by questioning the deferred life plan, the traditional path of working 40-plus hours a week for 40-plus years, saving for retirement, and then finally living life when you're old. He immediately contrasts this with the lifestyle of the new rich, who seek to maximize time, mobility, and leverage in the here and now, rather than accumulating excessive wealth for a distant, uncertain future. He warns against the dangers of this traditional path, implying it's like burning $1,000 a night in lost experiences and deferred happiness. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this chapter aims to trigger a fundamental reevaluation of your life's priorities. Ferriss argues that society conditions us to believe that hard work equates to virtue, and that freedom is a reward earned only at the end of a long career. This belief leads to a life of perpetual postponement, where happiness and experiences are always pushed into the future. He highlights that the fear of not enough, money, security, status, keeps most people trapped in conventional jobs. The new rich mindset prioritizes liberation from the 9 to 5 grind and designing a lifestyle that allows for travel, personal passions, and contribution throughout life. This isn't about laziness or escaping responsibility. It's about efficiency and effectiveness to gain personal freedom. It forces us to recognize that money is a tool, not an end in itself. and its true value lies in the freedom it buys. He warns that even achieving immense traditional wealth doesn't guarantee a fulfilling life if you lack time and mobility. Illustrative examples. The golden handcuffs syndrome. Ferriss might describe high-powered executives earning huge salaries but working 80-hour weeks, constantly stressed, with no time for family, hobbies, or travel. They are financially rich by traditional standards, but poor in time and mobility. Their high income is effectively a set of golden handcuffs, keeping them enslaved to their jobs. The someday retirement trap. He recounts the common scenario of someone who meticulously saves for retirement, only to reach their 60s or 70s physically unable, too tired, or lacking the desire to pursue the adventures they always dreamed of. The deferred life often becomes a life never truly lived to its fullest potential. Ferriss's own burnout. Ferriss briefly touches upon his personal experience of working 80-hour weeks in his previous endeavors, despite earning a good income. This personal pain point led him to question the traditional model and actively seek a new way of living, where he could travel the world, learn new skills, and still generate income with minimal time commitment, demonstrating the dissatisfaction with the old rich paradigm even when it appears successful. Practical application. Confront your deferred life plan. Honestly evaluate if you are postponing joy and experiences for a distant future. What would it look like to integrate those experiences into your life now? Define your personal, new rich lifestyle. Beyond just money, what activities, travel, and experiences would truly make you feel rich in time and mobility? Be highly specific. Identify your fears of departure. What fears, e.g., job security, disapproval, social norms, financial insecurity, are keeping you tied to the traditional grind? Begin to acknowledge and challenge those fears. Chapter 2. Rules that change the rules. Everything popular is wrong. Explanation. This chapter outlines Ferriss's foundational new rules for operating in the modern world, designed to help you break free from conventional thinking and embrace the principles of the new rich. These rules directly challenge common, often detrimental, assumptions about productivity, work hours, and the very definition of a successful career. Deep analysis. Psychologically, these new rules are designed to disrupt the ingrained old rules of the industrial age workforce, where busyness equated to productivity, and long hours were a sign of dedication or importance. Ferriss encourages a radical shift from time-based value to results-based value. The core insight is that most of what we believe about work and success are societal constructs, not immutable laws. By consciously adopting these new rules, we can reprogram our thinking to focus on efficiency, leverage, and personal freedom. They are designed to exploit the inefficiencies and outdated thinking of the conventional world. The most impactful new rules include: relative income is more important than absolute income. How much you earn per hour or per task is more important than your total annual salary. $50,000 working 10 hours a week, $96 an hour, is richer than $200,000 working 80 hours a week, $48 an hour. This highlights that time is the true commodity. Efficiency is your ally. Effectiveness is your goal. It's not about doing things faster. It's about doing the right things. Often 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Focus on that vital 20%. Mini retirements. Over one big retirement. Instead of deferring all leisure and travel to a distant future, integrate periods of extended travel and personal exploration throughout your life while still generating income. Mobility is power. The ability to work from anywhere breaks geographical chains and opens up new possibilities for lifestyle design. Parkinson's Law. Work expands to fill the time available for its completion. This means setting aggressive, short deadlines to force efficiency. Elimination is power. It's not about doing more things. It's about ruthlessly identifying and cutting out the non-essential. Illustrative examples. The busy work trap. Ferriss often cites examples of office environments where people arrive early and stay late, but much of that time is spent in unproductive meetings, checking irrelevant emails, or performing tasks that yield minimal results. The old rule is that presence equals productivity. The new rule is that results equal productivity, regardless of hours or location. The digital nomad pioneer, Ferriss himself, lived this principle, managing his supplement business from various international locations. He demonstrated that the rule that you must be in a physical office from 9 to 5 is an outdated one for many roles. By proving his results remotely, he gained unprecedented freedom. The power of I don't have time. Ferriss might show how when someone says, I don't have time for something, they're often saying it's not a priority. The new rules force you to redefine your priorities based on what truly matters for your lifestyle, not just what society expects. Practical application. Calculate your relative income. Divide your total monthly income by the number of hours you actually work, including commuting, unpaid overtime, etc. This reveals your true hourly worth. Identify one old rule you blindly follow. Is there a belief about work, a fixed schedule, or a traditional expectation that you've never questioned? E.g., I must attend every meeting. I can only work effectively in an office. Brainstorm one new rule to apply. How can you shift from activity to productivity? How can you increase your relative income? How can you gain more mobility? Choose one to experiment with. Chapter 3. Dodging Bullets. Fear Setting and Escaping Paralysis. Explanation. This chapter tackles one of the biggest obstacles to adopting the new rich lifestyle: fear. Ferriss introduces a powerful technique called fear setting, which is a structured exercise designed to identify, analyze, and minimize your fears of taking action, thereby breaking the paralysis that often prevents people from pursuing unconventional paths. Deep analysis. Psychologically, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and fear of social disapproval are powerful deterrents. Our brains are wired to avoid perceived threats, even if those threats are largely imagined. This often leads to analysis paralysis or procrastination on big, life-changing decisions. Fear setting works by externalizing these vague anxieties and forcing you to quantify the worst-case scenarios, the steps to mitigate those scenarios, and the benefits of even a partial success. Ferriss argues that most of our fears are not nearly as catastrophic as we imagine, and that the cost of inaction, staying in the status quo, is often far greater than the cost of trying and failing. It's about moving from an emotional, abstract fear to a rational, actionable plan. Illustrative examples. Ferriss's own fear setting. Ferriss recounts his own fear before embarking on his first mini-retirement, traveling South America while managing his business remotely. He feared running out of money, losing his business, and ending up homeless. By writing down these fears and detailing mitigation plans, he realized the worst case was manageable, and the cost of not trying, staying miserable in his 9-to-5 grind, was much higher. The "what if I quit my job" scenario. Imagine someone dreaming of starting a business but paralyzed by the fear of quitting their stable job. Define worst case. What's the absolute worst that could happen? E.g., run out of savings, have to move back in with parents, find another job like the old one. Preventive measures. What can I do to prevent that? E.g., save 6 months living expenses, network with old contacts, keep skills updated. Repair damage. How would I recover if the worst happened? E.g., take a temporary job, borrow from family. Benefits of attempting, even if failing. What would I learn? What skills would I gain? How would I grow? This structured thought process drastically reduces the emotional power of fear. The entrepreneur's pitch. Anxiety. A new entrepreneur is terrified of pitching their idea to investors. Fear setting helps them break down the fears. What's the worst that could happen? They say no. Will I starve? No. What would I learn from the rejection? How to improve my pitch? What's the cost of not pitching? My idea never sees the light of day. This shifts focus from the terrifying what if to manageable outcomes. Practical application. Do a fear-setting exercise. On a piece of paper, create 3 columns. Column 1. Define your fears. List your top 10, 20 worst-case scenarios if you pursue your unconventional goal, e.g., starting a remote side hustle, taking a mini-retirement. Be specific. Column 2. Prevent, repair. For each fear, list what you could do to prevent it from happening, or how you would fix it if it did happen. Column 3. Cost of inaction. What are the consequences, financial, emotional, physical, of not taking action, of staying in the status quo for 6 months, 1 year, 3 years? Review your fear setting. You'll likely find that your fears are overblown and manageable, while the cost of inaction is surprisingly high. Take action. Use this clarity to propel you past paralysis and into deliberate action. Chapter 4. System Reset. Being unreasonable and unambiguous. Explanation. This chapter encourages readers to be unreasonable in their goals and unambiguous in their demands from life. Ferriss argues that incremental goals often yield incremental results, while unreasonable goals, those that seem impossible, often force radical, game-changing solutions. He also stresses the importance of clearly defining your desires and demands. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this chapter challenges our tendency to set small, safe goals, which often lead to mediocre results and a feeling of being stuck. Setting unreasonable goals, e.g., working 4 hours a week instead of 40, immediately forces you to think outside the box and question conventional wisdom. You can't achieve an unreasonable goal with conventional methods. This demands radical rethinking, elimination, and automation. Being unambiguous means having crystal clear goals and defining exactly what you want, e.g., I want to earn $5,000 passively per month while traveling in South America for 3 months. Not just, I want more freedom. This clarity provides a precise target for your brain to work towards, reducing ambiguity and increasing focus. Illustrative examples. The impossible goal of working 4 hours a week. Ferriss himself set the unreasonable goal of working 4 hours a week. If he had aimed for 30 hours, he would have likely just optimized his current habits. But the 4-hour goal forced him to question everything: how he managed his business, how he communicated, what he even did. This extreme goal led to extreme and effective solutions. The millionaire next door versus new rich. A traditional millionaire might have a vague goal of being rich, unambiguous in terms of money, but perhaps not lifestyle. The new rich might have the unreasonable and unambiguous goal of earning $5,000 a month passively while spending 3 months living in Bali. This clarity dictates specific actions and a focus on lifestyle design. Demanding a remote job. Instead of vaguely wishing to work from home, being unambiguous means presenting a clear, results-oriented proposal to your boss. I will increase my productivity by X% if I work remotely 2 days a week, and here's how I'll measure it. This moves from a vague desire to a concrete demand for a new outcome. Practical application. Set unreasonable goals. For your next big life or career goal, don't just aim for incremental improvement. Ask, what would this look like if it were truly unreasonable but still achievable? Be unambiguous. Define your goals with extreme clarity. What exactly do you want? By when? What does it feel like? What are the specific metrics? Challenge the how. Don't immediately try to figure out how to achieve unreasonable goals. Just define them. The how will emerge once the what is clear and compelling enough. Embrace the crazy. Be willing to pursue ideas that seem radical or unconventional to others. Your unique path will emerge from these unreasonable demands. Part 2. E is for elimination, the art of doing less. We've redefined our goals and understood the power of being unreasonable. Now, Timothy Ferriss introduces the crucial next step in designing your new rich lifestyle: elimination. This phase is all about getting brutally honest about what truly matters and then ruthlessly cutting out everything else that consumes your time and energy without yielding significant results. It's not about finding more time. It's about needing less time. Ferriss argues that most people are busy, but not productive, and this section provides the tools to change that. Chapter 5. The End of Time Management, Illusions and Italians. Explanation. This chapter radically challenges conventional time management wisdom. Ferriss argues that traditional time management techniques, often focused on squeezing more into your day, are fundamentally flawed because they encourage busyness over productivity. He asserts that effective time management isn't about doing more, but about doing less, but better, by focusing on results rather than activity. He introduces the 80-20 principle, Pareto principle, and Parkinson's law as the ultimate tools for this elimination. Deep analysis. Psychologically, we often fall into the trap of confusing activity with productivity. We feel busy, so we assume we're being effective, leading to a false sense of accomplishment. The 80-20 principle. Roughly 80% of desired outcomes come from 20% of your efforts. forces us to identify that vital 20% of high-impact tasks that drive most of our results. This requires courage to analyze our own work habits and admit that much of what we do is low value. It's about focusing on impact, not simply effort. Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time available for its completion, highlights our natural tendency to fill available time. If you give yourself a week to do a task that could take an hour, it will take a week. This points to the importance of setting aggressive, short deadlines to force efficiency and eliminate time wasting. Together, these principles encourage a ruthless approach to cutting out unnecessary tasks, meetings, and distractions. The underlying thought is, what would happen if I did only the important 20%? Often, the answer is, not much would change, except I'd have 80% more time. Illustrative examples. The overworked Italian manager. Ferriss often recounts how traditional businesses are bogged down by inefficiencies. He might use an anecdote of an Italian manager who achieves great results with seemingly fewer hours. This isn't magic. It's about a cultural approach that values efficiency and enjoyment of life over endless face time or busy work. They focus on crucial conversations and strategic decisions, not micromanaging. The salesperson's pipeline. A common scenario. A salesperson spends 80% of their time cold calling random leads, going to unproductive networking events, and filling out excessive paperwork. However, 80% of their actual sales come from 20% of their efforts, perhaps building strong relationships with a few key referral sources or focusing on highly qualified inbound leads. Applying 80-20 here means drastically cutting the low-yield activities to focus almost entirely on the high-yield ones. The hour-long meeting that could be 15 minutes. This is Parkinson's law in action. Many meetings are scheduled for an hour by default, and participants will fill that time with conversation, even if the core decisions could be made in 15 minutes. By scheduling a 15-minute meeting and sticking to it, the attendees are forced to be concise, prepared, and get straight to the point, increasing the meeting's productivity by orders of magnitude. Practical application. Conduct an 80-20 analysis of your work. For your most important goals, identify the 20% of tasks that generate 80% of your most important results. Conversely, identify the 20% of tasks or people or habits that consume 80% of your time, energy, and stress. Ruthlessly eliminate or minimize. For the low-value 80% of pool of tasks, ask, can this be entirely eliminated? Can it be automated? We'll get to this. Can it be delegated? Can I minimize its impact? Be bold in cutting tasks that don't directly serve your 20%. Apply Parkinson's law to everything. For any task, give yourself a much shorter deadline than you intuitively think is necessary. For example, if you think a report will take 4 hours, give yourself 2. This forces intense focus and efficiency. Chapter 6. The Low Information Diet. Cultivating Selective Ignorance. Explanation. This chapter emphasizes that in the age of constant connectivity and information overload, managing your information input is critical for achieving high productivity and reclaiming your time. Ferriss advocates for a low information diet, a deliberate choice to drastically reduce your consumption of news, social media, and other irrelevant inputs. Deep analysis. Psychologically, Our brains are wired to respond to novelty and new information, often leading to a constant state of distraction and reactivity. Every email notification, social media ping, or breaking news alert pulls us away from focused, high-value work, leading to task-switching costs and reduced deep work capacity. This constant state of being informed can make us feel busy, but prevents us from achieving impactful results. The low-information diet is a deliberate choice to control your inputs, protecting your mental space from irrelevant noise, much like a healthy eating diet protects your body. It's about recognizing that most information is either irrelevant to your immediate goals or can be consumed later in a batched, efficient manner. Constant consumption of news or social media is often a form of procrastination disguised as staying informed or being connected. It also directly challenges the urgent versus important matrix, emphasizing that urgent but unimportant interruptions must be actively eliminated. Illustrative examples: the email checking addiction. Ferriss identifies the habit of constantly checking email as a major time drain. Each new email creates a mini interruption, pulling attention away. He suggests implementing a strict policy of checking email only twice a day, e.g., at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m., and establishing auto-replies to manage external expectations. This drastically reduces interruptions and allows for sustained blocks of focused work. The news consumption trap. Many people spend hours each day consuming news, feeling it's their civic duty. Ferriss argues that most news is negative, uncontrollable, and doesn't directly impact your daily mission or your vital 20% tasks. He suggests dramatically reducing or eliminating news consumption entirely, opting for quick summaries once a week if absolutely necessary. This frees up enormous mental bandwidth and reduces anxiety. The social media scroll. The endless scroll of social media feeds is a prime example of a low-information, high-distraction habit. While it might provide momentary entertainment, it rarely contributes to your most important goals. Ferriss encourages conscious limits or complete elimination during focused work periods. Practical application. Implement a low-information diet. Commit to reducing your consumption of all news sources. Unsubscribe from unnecessary newsletters. Filter your social media feeds aggressively or take breaks from platforms. Batch communications. Designate specific limited times, e.g., 30 minutes twice a day, for checking emails, voicemails, and social media messages. Communicate these expectations to others. Minimize interruptions. Negotiate. Do not disturb blocks with colleagues or family, e.g., I'm doing deep work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Use noise-canceling headphones. Turn off all phone notifications. Prioritize your 20%. Before consuming any information or responding to an interruption, always ask, is this critical to my 20% highest impact activities? If not, eliminate it, defer it, or delegate it. Chapter 7. Interrupting. Interruption and the Art of Refusal. Explanation. This chapter focuses on the practical tactics for managing and eliminating interruptions, and crucially, mastering the art of refusal, learning to say no, politely but firmly, to requests that do not serve your highest priorities. Ferriss argues that interruptions are productivity killers and that your time is a finite resource that must be fiercely protected. Deep analysis. Psychologically, many people struggle with refusing requests due to a fear of missing out, FOMO, a desire to please others, or a need for external validation. This leads to overcommitment, diffused energy, and a lack of focus on what truly matters. Ferriss emphasizes that your ability to say no is a direct reflection of your ability to say yes to your most important goals. Without clear boundaries, you allow others' priorities to dictate your life, making you reactive and ineffective. Interruptions, whether from people, email, or phone calls, break your focus and require significant time to recover. The art of refusal is a proactive strategy to protect your most valuable asset, your uninterrupted attention. Illustrative examples. The email autoresponder. Ferriss famously used autoresponders not just to manage expectations, but to train others. His auto-reply would state, "I check email twice daily at X and Y o'clock. For urgent matters, please call Z. Otherwise, I will respond within 24 hours." This taught people not to expect immediate replies and not to use email for urgent matters, drastically reducing interruptions. The batching of phone calls. Instead of answering the phone whenever it rings, Ferriss suggests batching calls. Return all calls at a specific time each day, Girji, 4 to 4:30 p.m. This allows for concentrated work blocks and prevents constant task switching. Politely declining meetings. When invited to a low-value meeting, instead of saying yes out of obligation, practice polite refusal. "Thank you for the invitation. Unfortunately, my schedule is fully committed to high-priority projects at that time. Could you send me the key takeaways via email instead?" This protects your time without burning bridges. The no that creates freedom. A manager might be overwhelmed by extra tasks from colleagues. By learning to say no to non-essential requests, or to offer to help only after completing their high-priority work, they reclaim control over their schedule and focus on what truly matters for their own performance. This is an act of self-respect and boundary setting. Practical application. Set communication boundaries. Communicate your availability for calls and emails. Use autoresponders or voicemail messages to manage expectations. Practice saying no politely. Develop a few go-to phrases for declining requests that don't align with your priorities. "I'd love to, but I'm currently focused on X." Or, "My plate is full right now, but I can recommend someone else." Design do not disturb time. Block out specific hours each day for focused, uninterrupted work. Turn off notifications and avoid checking communications during these blocks. Audit your interruptions. For a few days, track every time you are interrupted and what causes it. This awareness is the first step to eliminating them. Part 3, A, is for automation. Building your freedom machine. Having mastered the art of doing less by ruthlessly eliminating the unimportant, Timothy Ferriss introduces the next powerful lever in his DEAL acronym, automation. This phase is all about leveraging technology and outsourcing to create income streams that run without your constant, direct intervention, ultimately freeing you from the daily grind and traditional office constraints. It's about designing systems that work for you, rather than you working for the systems. Chapter 8, Outsourcing Life, Offloading the Rest, and a Taste of Geo-Arbitrage. Explanation. This chapter pushes the boundaries of conventional thinking by advocating for radical outsourcing of tasks, not just business processes, but also significant aspects of your personal life. Ferriss argues that anything repetitive, time-consuming, or outside your core competencies should be delegated, primarily through the use of virtual assistants, VAs, and other automated systems. He also introduces the concept of geo-arbitrage, which is leveraging geographical differences in cost of living and labor to your advantage. Deep analysis. Psychologically, many people resist outsourcing due to a fear of losing control, a belief that no one can do it as well as I can, or a misconception that it's only for large corporations. Ferriss challenges these by demonstrating that delegating frees up your most valuable resource, your time, to focus on high-leverage activities that truly matter. It's about recognizing that your time is a finite resource. By paying a lower hourly rate for routine tasks in, for example, developing countries, geo-arbitrage, you effectively increase your own hourly wage and reclaim hours of your life. Automation isn't about laziness, it's about intelligent leverage. It acknowledges that your time is best spent on high-impact, creative, or enjoyable pursuits, while others handle the mundane. The focus shifts from doing everything to managing processes and designing systems that work for you, often 24/7. Illustrative examples. The virtual assistant for personal life. Ferriss famously managed his life and business while traveling the world, largely through his VAs. He recounts using virtual assistants for everything from managing his email inbox, scheduling appointments, paying bills, booking travel, researching gifts, and even handling minor customer service inquiries for his business. He would send a simple email request to his VA, and the task would be handled without his direct involvement, illustrating how to reclaim hours each week. Delegating research and content curation. Instead of spending hours sifting through information for a project or curating social media content, Ferriss would delegate the initial research phase or content gathering to a VA. The VA would compile the data or prepare draft posts, and Ferriss would then review the summarized, high-quality output, saving him significant time and effort. Customer service automation via FAQs. A small, online business owner might spend hours answering repetitive customer questions. Ferriss would suggest automating this with a comprehensive FAQ page, automated email responses based on common queries, or even outsourcing basic customer support to a remote VA team. This ensures customers get answers quickly, while the owner focuses on product development and strategic growth. Practical application. Identify outsourceable tasks. Make a list of all your recurring, repetitive, or time-consuming tasks, both professional and personal. Ask, does this task require my unique skills, or can someone else do it 80% as well for less than my hourly worth? Start with tasks that cause you the most frustration. Start small with a virtual assistant. Don't outsource your entire life at once. Begin with one or two small, clear, and low-risk tasks, e.g., scheduling a single appointment, basic online research for a personal purchase, organizing digital files. Provide clear, concise instructions. Good delegation requires precise, step-by-step instructions. Create templates or checklists for repetitive tasks. Record a screen share video if necessary. Remember, ambiguity leads to frustration. Embrace the 80/20 rule of delegation. Accept that a VA might not do it perfectly, 100% your way. But if they can do it 80% as well, it's a massive win to free up your time for your 20% high-impact work. Chapter 9. Income Autopilot E. Finding the Muse. Explanation. This chapter dives into the core of how to generate automated income. Ferriss introduces the concept of the Muse, a small, portable business that can be automated and run with minimal input, generating a reliable income stream. This is the vehicle for the new rich lifestyle, providing the financial freedom without the time commitment of a traditional job. He outlines criteria for identifying a successful muse. Deep analysis. Psychologically, the idea of passive income seems almost too good to be true for many, rooted in the scarcity mentality that demands effort for every dollar. Ferriss challenges this by demonstrating that by leveraging information, niche markets, and automation, you can create a business that serves customers while you're not actively working. The key elements of a successful muse are high profit margins, ideally 500 to 1,000% profit margins for information products, or 50% for reselling. This ensures sufficient profit to cover expenses and outsourcing. Low production cost and time. The product should be quick to create, e.g., an ebook, a niche software product, a curated physical product. Low complexity. Avoid products that require extensive expertise, large capital investment, or complex manufacturing. No inventory, minimal overhead. Ideally, a digital product or a drop-shipped physical product to minimize storage and shipping headaches. Targetable niche market. A defined group of people with a clear problem you can solve. This makes marketing easier and more effective. Pain point. Product. The product should solve an obvious emotional problem for the target niche, creating immediate demand. This chapter is about strategic business design, where freedom and automation are baked into the product from conception. Illustrative examples. The niche ebook. Ferriss might describe someone passionate about a specific, obscure hobby, e.g., organic beekeeping in urban areas. They write a short, practical ebook, low production cost/time, solving common problems for this niche. They sell it online, no inventory, low overhead. The initial creation takes effort, but sales become automated. This is a classic muse. Specialty supplement sales. Ferriss's own muse. Ferriss's own business, Brain Quicken, was a supplement company. He chose a niche, brain-enhancing supplements for high performers, created a high-margin product, outsourced manufacturing and shipping, and automated customer service. This allowed him to generate significant income with minimal daily intervention. Online course creation. An expert in digital marketing creates an online course on how to master Google Ads for small businesses. The course is created once, low production cost, solves a clear pain point for a niche market, and can be sold repeatedly online. No inventory, high margins. Operating largely on autopilot after the initial setup. Practical application. Brainstorm niche. Passions, problems. What are you passionate about? What problems do you see common to specific, defined groups of people? Your potential niche. Validate the pain point. Is the problem significant enough that people would pay to solve it? Test this by asking people, running small surveys, or looking at online forums. Consider low information products, information-based products, ebooks, online courses, niche consulting guides often have the highest profit margins and lowest overhead, making them ideal muses. Focus on solving a single, clear problem. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Find one specific pain point and offer a direct solution. Chapter 10. Income Autopilot 2. Testing the Muse. Explanation. This chapter provides a critical, counterintuitive step: how to test your Muse idea rapidly and cost-effectively without actually creating the product first. Ferriss advocates for small-scale, data-driven experiments to validate market demand before investing significant time or money into product development. This minimizes risk and ensures you're building something people actually want. Deep analysis. Psychologically, many aspiring entrepreneurs fall into the trap of analysis paralysis, or spending too much time perfecting a product before launching it. Ferriss argues that this is risky. The market doesn't care about your perfection. It cares about its own needs. Testing the Muse is about simulating the existence of your product to gauge genuine interest and willingness to pay. It leverages the concept of minimum viable product, though he doesn't use that exact term, and rapid iteration. By setting up simple test ads or landing pages, you can determine if your proposed solution truly resonates with your target niche, providing crucial data before committing to full development. This approach reduces the fear of failure by turning large risks into small, measurable experiments. Illustrative examples. The fake product test. Ferriss describes how he would often set up a simple web page advertising a product idea before it existed. He'd run Google AdWords ads targeting his niche, driving traffic to this page. The page might offer a Buy Now button. If enough people clicked Buy Now and got an out-of-stock message collecting their email for future notification, it signaled strong demand, validating the idea. If few clicked, he'd kill the idea. This allowed him to test dozens of product ideas for minimal cost. The pre-order validation. An aspiring author wants to write a niche book. Instead of writing the whole book, they might create a landing page describing the book, its benefits, and offer a pre-order option. If they hit a certain number of pre-orders, it validates that people are willing to pay, and they can then write the book with confidence. Testing online course. Demand. Someone considering creating an online course on advanced Excel for accountants might run targeted Facebook ads linking to a survey asking about specific Excel pain points and interest in a course. They might even offer a free short webinar to gauge attendance and engagement before developing the full curriculum. Practical application. Identify your target niche. Be very specific about who you are trying to serve. Define a clear pain point. What specific problem are you trying to solve for this niche? Create a simple test. Build a basic landing page using tools like lead pages or Unbounce that describes your proposed product service. Drive targeted traffic. Run small, inexpensive ad campaigns, e.g., Google AdWords, Facebook ads, to your landing page. Measure conversion. Track how many people click, sign up for an email list, or attempt to buy your non-existent product. This data tells you if there's real demand. iterate or eliminate. Based on the data, either refine your idea and retest or kill the idea and move on to the next. Don't fall in love with your first idea. Fall in love with the process of market validation. Chapter 11. Income Autopilot 3. MBA Management. By absence, explanation. This chapter is the culmination of the automation phase, showing how to manage your automated Muse business with minimal time and intervention. Ferriss introduces the concept of management by absence MBA, designing your business operations so that it runs effectively without your constant presence, allowing you to enjoy geographic and time freedom. Deep analysis. Psychologically, this challenges the deeply ingrained belief that a business owner must be constantly present and involved for their business to succeed. Ferriss argues that this busyness often leads to micromanagement, inefficiency, and prevents true scalability. MBA is about creating robust systems, clear standard operating procedures, SOPs, and empowering your outsourced team or VAs to handle the daily operations. It requires a significant upfront investment in system design and clear communication, but the reward is immense freedom. The goal is to make yourself the least necessary component of your business's daily operations, focusing your limited hours on high-leverage strategic decisions or product improvements, rather than routine tasks. Illustrative examples. The detailed SOPs. Ferriss would create incredibly detailed standard operating procedures for every aspect of his business that was handled by VAs, e.g., how to process a customer refund, how to update website content. These step-by-step guides empowered his VAs to handle most issues independently, reducing the need for his intervention. Limited communication policy. He would train his team to communicate only through email or a shared document system, avoiding phone calls unless it was a true emergency. He would also batch his email checking, as discussed in elimination, reinforcing a management by absence approach. This forced his team to be resourceful and only bring him truly complex or strategic issues. Automated order fulfillment. For his supplement business, Ferriss set up a system where customer orders were automatically forwarded to a fulfillment center, which then shipped products directly. He didn't touch inventory or shipping. This automation made the physical product business portable and hands-off. The no-call business. Imagine a small online course creator. Instead of having a customer service phone line, they implement a robust FAQ, a ticket-based email support system, and clear instructions. This system allows customers to get help efficiently without the creator needing to be on call, embodying management by absence. Practical application. Document everything. For every task in your business, write down the step-by-step process. This forms your SOPs. Empower your team or VA. Train your VAs or outsourced team to follow your SOPs and to problem solve independently based on clear guidelines. Establish limited communication channels. Minimize phone calls and instant messaging. Rely primarily on batched email or project management tools. Set clear decision rules. For your team, define clear boundaries for when they can make decisions independently and when they must escalate to you. Test your absence. Periodically take a short mini retirement, e.g., a week or two, to see if your systems truly run without you. This reveals weaknesses that need further automation or delegation. Part 4. L is for liberation, embracing your freedom. We've mastered the art of doing less and built systems to automate our income. Now, Timothy Ferriss introduces the ultimate reward and final step in the deal framework. Liberation, L. This phase is about truly embracing the lifestyle you've designed, achieving geographic freedom, and ensuring that this newfound freedom is sustainable and fulfilling. It's about breaking free from the traditional office, filling your time with meaningful pursuits, and avoiding common pitfalls of the new rich. Chapter 12, Disappearing Act, How to Escape the Office. Explanation. This chapter provides practical strategies for transitioning from a traditional office job to a remote, location-independent work arrangement. Ferriss acknowledges the challenges and fears associated with this step, but offers a step-by-step blueprint for proving your value remotely and negotiating your escape. Deep analysis. Psychologically, the fear of leaving a stable job or the perceived security of an office can be paralyzing. Many people believe they must be physically present to be productive or valued. Ferriss argues that this is often an illusion perpetuated by managers' desire for control, not a necessity for results. He encourages a shift from face time to results-only work, echoing his earlier principles. The strategy involves building a strong case for remote productivity by first proving your effectiveness in the office, then proposing a gradual remote trial period. The underlying insight is that your value to the company is your output, not your presence. By making yourself indispensable and demonstrating superior results remotely, you gain leverage for geographic freedom. Illustrative examples. The remote trial proposal. Ferriss suggests proposing a trial period of working remotely, perhaps 1 day a week, then 2. During this time, meticulously track your productivity and highlight how your output increased due to fewer interruptions and better focus. Present this data to your manager as evidence that remote work benefits the company. The crisis remote work test. Sometimes an unexpected event, like a snowstorm, illness, or temporary office closure, forces remote work. Ferriss advises using these forced experiments to your advantage. Over-deliver during these periods, showing your boss that remote work is not only feasible but advantageous, thereby building a case for a permanent arrangement, making yourself less available. Even before proposing remote work, start making yourself slightly less available at your desk. Batch email checks. Avoid impromptu conversations and complete high-value tasks in focused bursts. When your manager sees results without constant interaction, they become accustomed to your absence, making the transition smoother. Practical application. Become a results-only employee. Focus intensely on your output and key performance indicators. Consistently over-deliver on results, making your value undeniable. Propose a remote trial. Craft a detailed proposal for a trial period of remote work, outlining how you will stay connected, manage tasks, and measure productivity. Address manager concerns. Anticipate potential objections, e.g., communication, accountability, and offer clear solutions. Embrace Incrementalism. If a full, remote transition isn't immediately possible, negotiate for 1 or 2 remote days a week first, gradually expanding as you prove your effectiveness. Chapter 13. Beyond Repair. Killing Your Job. Explanation. This chapter addresses the often difficult decision of leaving a job that cannot be transformed into a 4-hour workweek model, or simply isn't serving your new rich lifestyle. Ferriss provides strategies for identifying when to quit, how to do it gracefully, and how to minimize risk during the transition to entrepreneurship or a fully remote role. Deep analysis. Psychologically, quitting a job is often accompanied by immense fear of financial insecurity, social disapproval, and the unknown. This chapter aims to empower you to overcome these fears by demonstrating that you always have choices and that the perceived safety of a dissatisfying job can be a trap. Ferriss advocates for making a calculated leap, ensuring you have a strong financial buffer, e.g., 6 months of living expenses, and a validated Muse from Part 3 in place before quitting. The goal is to minimize regret and maximize leverage, making the transition deliberate and strategic rather than a desperate jump. It's about taking the plunge when the preparation meets the opportunity rather than waiting for perfection. Illustrative examples. The golden handcuffs. Breakout. Ferriss might recount stories of high-earning professionals stuck in soul-crushing jobs. They're afraid to leave because of the golden handcuffs, the high salary that makes leaving seem impossible. This chapter provides the psychological and tactical tools to break free, such as building a validated side income first. The bridge-burning myth. Ferriss stresses the importance of not burning bridges. Quitting gracefully, offering to train your replacement, and leaving on good terms maintains your professional network and reputation, which can be invaluable for future opportunities. This contrasts with the emotional, angry quitting that some people fall into due to frustration. Ferriss's own exit strategy. While he details his own path from a high-pressure corporate job, the chapter highlights how he built his automated business, Brain Quicken, to a point where it could sustain him before he fully detached from his traditional work commitments. This provided the financial and psychological safety net to make the leap. Practical application. Build a financial buffer. Aim to save at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses before considering quitting your main job. Validate your Muse, alternative income. Ensure your automated business or other income streams are generating consistent revenue before relying solely on them. Prepare a graceful exit plan. Plan your departure meticulously. Give ample notice. Offer to train your replacement and leave on positive terms. Consider a sabbatical first. If a full quit is too daunting, try negotiating a longer sabbatical or a temporary leave of absence to test your new lifestyle and income streams. Chapter 14. Mini retirements. Embracing the mobile lifestyle. Explanation. This chapter introduces one of the most appealing concepts of the new rich lifestyle, mini retirements. Ferriss argues against deferring all leisure and travel to a distant, uncertain retirement. Instead, he advocates for integrating frequent, extended periods of travel, learning, and personal exploration throughout your life, while your automated income continues to flow. Deep analysis. Psychologically, the idea of retirement being a single, distant event can lead to a feeling of perpetual deferment and a lack of urgency to pursue passions. Many retirements shatter this by making periods of extended freedom a regular part of life. This provides continuous rejuvenation, broadens perspectives, fosters creativity, and reduces the burnout common in the traditional 9-to-5 grind. It's about designing a life where work supports living, not the other way around. It also implicitly reduces the risk associated with a single, massive retirement, as you experience the lifestyle multiple times throughout your life. The concept encourages cultural immersion, learning new skills, and pursuing personal projects in different parts of the world. Illustrative examples. Ferriss's world travels. Ferriss famously managed his business from Buenos Aires, Berlin, and other global locations, taking tango lessons, learning new languages, and engaging in cultural experiences. These weren't mere vacations. They were periods of profound personal growth and exploration that were integrated into his working life, thanks to his automated income. The sabbatical as a mini retirement. Many companies offer sabbaticals. Ferriss encourages treating these as mini retirements, opportunities to travel, volunteer, learn a new skill, or pursue a passion, rather than just resting at home. The digital nomad couple. A couple built a successful online business and now spend 3 to 6 months each year living in a different country, immersing themselves in local culture, learning to cook new cuisines, and working only a few hours a day to maintain their automated income. This is a perpetual mini-retirement, far more enriching than a single retirement in old age. Practical application. Define your ideal mini-retirement. Where would you go? What would you do? How long would it be? What would you learn? Set a mini-retirement goal. Treat it like any other major goal, with a specific time frame and financial target. Plan for absence. Use the principles of automation, Part 3, to ensure your income streams will continue to flow and your responsibilities will be handled while you're away. Embrace learning and growth. Use mini-retirements not just for relaxation, but for personal development, cultural immersion, and exploring new passions. Chapter 15. Filling the void, adding life. After subtracting work. Explanation. This chapter addresses a crucial, often overlooked challenge of the 4-hour workweek. What to do with your newfound free time once you've drastically reduced your work hours. Ferriss warns against the void that can lead to boredom, aimlessness, or even falling back into old work habits. He emphasizes the importance of having compelling purposes and passions to fill your life. Deep analysis. Psychologically, human beings need purpose and engagement. If you simply eliminate work without replacing it with meaningful activities, you risk feeling empty or purposeless. This erroneous zone, echoing Dr. Wayne Dyer, can lead to depression, anxiety, or a return to overwork simply to feel busy. Ferriss encourages a shift from "what do I want to avoid" to "what do I want to create and experience." He advocates for developing compelling purposes, passions, projects, or causes that excite you and give your life direction beyond just earning money. This is where true fulfillment lies. Illustrative examples. The retired workaholic. Someone who spent their entire life working 60-plus hours a week suddenly retires and has no hobbies, no passions, and no social life outside of work. They quickly become bored, depressed, and feel a loss of identity, illustrating the void. Ferriss's own experience with aimlessness. Ferriss admits that after achieving his 4-hour workweek, he initially felt a sense of aimlessness. He had achieved his goal of working less, but hadn't yet defined what he truly wanted to do with his liberated time. This led him to actively seek out and pursue new skills, adventures, and meaningful projects. The dreamlining exercise. Ferriss introduces dreamlining, an exercise to brainstorm and define your biggest, most exciting dreams, e.g., learning a new language, climbing a mountain, starting a nonprofit, visiting a specific country. Then, he breaks down these dreams into specific, actionable steps and assigns them dates. This creates a compelling purpose to fill your liberated time. Practical application. Do the dreamlining exercise. Spend an hour brainstorming your biggest dreams. Break them down into specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound steps. Develop compelling purposes. Identify passions, projects, or causes that truly excite you and give your life meaning beyond just earning income. Schedule your freed time. Don't just leave your liberated hours empty. Actively schedule your mini retirements, your new hobbies, your learning pursuits, and your contributions. Embrace continuous learning. Use your free time to learn new skills. Read widely and expand your horizons. This keeps your mind engaged and prevents boredom. Chapter 16. The Top 13. New Rich Mistakes. Explanation. This final practical chapter acts as a crucial lessons learned guide, providing a checklist of the most common pitfalls and mistakes made by those attempting to live the new rich lifestyle. Ferriss shares these warnings to help readers avoid common traps that can derail their progress and lead back to the traditional grind. Deep analysis. Psychologically, even with a blueprint, human nature tends to fall back into old patterns or make new errors. This chapter is about providing proactive warnings and troubleshooting tips for common challenges, including giving up too soon, not persisting through initial difficulties, taking criticism personally, letting external negativity derail your efforts, getting caught in the busyness trap again, falling back into working long hours, even when unnecessary, not having a compelling purpose, lacking meaningful activities to fill the void, leading to boredom, letting the automated business become too complex, not maintaining simplicity, not having enough mini retirements, slipping back into the deferred life, ignoring cash flow, focusing only on grand schemes without managing daily finances, not building enough buffer, not having financial safety nets. By forewarning readers about these traps, Ferriss equips them with the awareness and tools to navigate challenges more effectively and maintain their new rich lifestyle. Illustrative examples. The workaholic who couldn't stop. Ferriss warns about individuals who successfully automate their income, but then fill their free time by taking on more work, effectively recreating the 9-to-5. This is a common mistake stemming from a lack of purpose or an ingrained belief that being busy equals being valuable. The over-automated mess. An entrepreneur might try to outsource everything too quickly, without proper SOPs or clear communication, leading to chaos and frustration. This is a mistake of poor implementation, not of the principle itself. The "I'll do it later" trap. Even the new rich can procrastinate on crucial maintenance tasks for their automated businesses, letting things slide until a crisis occurs. This reinforces the need for ongoing vigilance and a disciplined approach to managing your freedom machine. Practical application. Review the top 13 mistakes regularly. Use this list as a checklist to proactively identify and avoid potential pitfalls in your own journey. Anticipate challenges. For each potential mistake, brainstorm what you can do now to prevent it or how you would respond if it happened. Learn from others' mistakes. Use Ferriss's warnings as lessons, saving yourself time, money, and frustration. Maintain vigilance. Even after achieving the 4-hour workweek, understand that it requires ongoing maintenance, vigilance, and conscious choice. Conclusion. Living the New Rich Life. Your unconventional path to freedom. As we bring to a close our deep dive into Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek, a revolutionary truth stands clear. The traditional path to wealth and retirement is not the only way to live, and often it's not even the best way. This book isn't just about working less. It's a bold manifesto for redesigning your life to maximize time, mobility, and freedom, the true currencies of the new rich. Ferriss's groundbreaking philosophy challenges us to abandon the deferred life plan and instead embrace mini retirements and continuous periods of leisure and learning throughout our lives. We've learned that true wealth is not just about accumulating money, but about having the time and freedom to pursue our passions, travel the world, and contribute meaningfully right here and now. We've explored Ferriss's powerful deal framework. D is for definition. Redefining our goals and understanding that relative income, earnings per hour, and time mobility are more valuable than absolute income. E is for elimination. Ruthlessly applying the 80-20 principle and Parkinson's law to identify and cut out the vast majority of unproductive work and unnecessary distractions, focusing only on the vital few tasks that yield the most results. A is for automation. Leveraging outsourcing, especially virtual assistants, and systemizing repetitive tasks to create income streams that run with minimal personal intervention, freeing up your time for higher value activities. L is for liberation. Achieving geographic freedom by making your work location independent, allowing you to live and work from anywhere in the world, unconstrained by the traditional office. In the fast-paced, digital, and increasingly remote-friendly 21st century, the principles of the 4-hour workweek are more relevant than ever. They empower us to question the status quo. Don't blindly follow conventional paths if they don't align with your vision of a fulfilling life. Prioritize impact. Overactivity. Focus on delivering disproportionate results with minimal effort rather than simply being busy. Leverage technology and talent. Use automation and outsourcing to create true efficiency and reclaim your time. Design your lifestyle. Be intentional about how you want to live and build your work around that ideal, rather than fitting your life into the confines of your work. Embrace mini retirements. Integrate periods of freedom and exploration throughout your life, rather than waiting for a distant retirement. The 4-hour workweek is not a guide to laziness. It's a blueprint for intelligent living and strategic work. It challenges you to take control of your time, your location, and your destiny, showing that an extraordinary life of freedom, adventure, and purpose is not a distant dream, but an achievable reality if you're willing to break the rules and think unconventionally. If the radical ideas and practical strategies of Timothy Ferriss in this summary have sparked a desire for more freedom and a redefinition of your own work-life balance, I wholeheartedly encourage you to dive into the 4-Hour Workweek. His full stories, detailed tactics, and extensive resources offer an even deeper, more transformative experience. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's one traditional rule about work or life that this summary has inspired you to challenge? And what's one small step you're committed to taking today to either eliminate, automate, or liberate something in your own life? Share your reflections and intentions in the comments below. Your journey towards a new rich life inspires this entire community. If you found this comprehensive audiobook summary valuable, please give this video a thumbs up to support the channel, subscribe for more transformative book insights, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into life-changing wisdom. Thank you for listening, and remember, don't just work to live. Design your life to truly live.